It's 17th of July today. 4 news stories. A good news for the people of Tigray who are in dire need of humanitarian aid. First flight carrying humanitarian aid landed at Mekelle airport a few hours ago. Secondly, international journalist bodies are calling upon Ethiopian government to reinstate the license of Addis Standard. Addis Standard's license was suspended by Ethiopian government 4 days ago. Thirdly, while Amhara and Tigray regions are beating the drums of war, Ethiopian and Eritrean football teams played a football match in Bahidar Football Stadium a few hours ago. Lastly, more reports are coming in about fighting between Tigray Defense Forces and Afar regional forces in Yalo Wareda of Zone 4 Afar region. Let's have a look at the first news story. Good news for the people of Tigray who are in dire need of humanitarian assistance. First flight carrying humanitarian aid landed at Mekelle airport a few hours ago. This is the first humanitarian aid flight arriving in Mekelle since the 26th of June, when Mekelle came under the control of Tigray Defense Forces. Tigray's government and Ethiopian federal government were locked into the dispute about direct flights to Tigray. Tigray's government was demanding direct flights to Tigray, but Ethiopian federal government was not permitting direct flights. Today's flight, WFP's flight, World Food Programme's flight, it landed at Bole Airport in Addis Ababa first. Their humanitarian aid, which this flight was carrying, was thoroughly checked. Then the flight was allowed to proceed towards Mekelle. A good news is that at least now humanitarian aid is arriving by air as well. We know viewers that supply of aid through Amhara region has been blocked. Then Samira Mekelle road was used by humanitarian aid agencies, but this route was very long one, and humanitarian aid convoys were being checked at multiple checkpoints from Samira to Mekelle. So the speed of the delivery of humanitarian aid was very slow, and Samantha Power, USAID's head, 2 days ago said that thousands could die if the speed of these supplies did not step up. Now flights through Addis Ababa are starting to arrive in Mekelle. International pressure was also mounting on Ethiopian government. We heard statements from US officials, from World Food Programme, from ICRC. International bodies were calling upon Ethiopian government to step up delivery of aid to Tigray. That is why now direct flights through Addis Ababa at Mekelle airport have been allowed. It will definitely help the people in need in Tigray. Secondly, viewers, Addis Standard, one of the leading news sources in Ethiopia, whose license was suspended 3 days ago, it's still suspended, viewers. International journalist bodies are demanding an explanation from Ethiopian government. Ethiopian government is accusing Addis Standard of backing TPLF. Ethiopian government is saying that Addis Standard was using the word TDF, Tigray Defense Forces, and Ethiopian government is very critical of the reporting of Addis Standard. Addis Standard is one of those news sources in Ethiopia which are largely neutral. Everyone is bound to make mistakes. People are now quoting some reports of Addis Standard which were proven inaccurate. It does not mean that all the reporting done by Addis Standard was baseless. Ethiopian government must review its suspension of Addis Standard's license. Thirdly, viewers, today a football match was played between national teams of Eritrea and Ethiopia in Amhara region. So while Amhara and Tigray regions are beating the drums of war, in Bahidar football stadium today, Ethiopian and Eritrean football teams met for a very interesting contest. The match ended in a draw with each side scoring three goals. Watch a few highlights of this match, then we'll talk about the next news story. Lastly, viewers, the regional government of Afar state a few hours ago claimed that Tigray Defense Forces had entered Yalo Wareda of Afar region. The news has been confirmed. Almost both sides are confirming this news. It is being said that Tigray Defense Forces entered Yalo Wareda and they wanted to advance towards Kaluwan. Kolwan is the place in Zone 4 of Afar region where Oromia Special Forces are stationed. Oromia region sent large number of its forces to Afar region, and reportedly in Kaluwan, which is administrative center of Zone 4 of Afar region, there in Kaluwan these special Oromia forces are deployed. Tigray Defense Forces wanted to advance towards Kaluwan, but fighting erupted between TDF and Afar regional forces in Yalo Wareda. TDF wants to keep Oromia forces away from Alamata, away from Raya as much as possible, as far as possible. That is why Tigray Defense Forces entered Yalo today. The news has been confirmed that TDF did enter Yalo Wareda of Afar region. Thank you for watching.